let's move on and have a chat about our map bans and picks, because both teams know one another very well, Jesse. So what surprises could be pilled up?
All right, I mean, we start off with a little Cafe pick coming through. DarkZero, I thought maybe we'd see a Nighthaven just because they love that map, but Cafe is not a bad choice either. It was dominant for them last season. This season, they're 1 for 2, taking down Beast Coast and Manchester, but falling to SSG in a 14-round game during the NAL. So it's been a bit since we've really seen them play it a ton.
The only thing that I worry about Cafe is it's a map that you are entering through windows, you're dropping through hatches, and M80 already knows how to play against you. You saw the Skyscraper if you rewatch that game. M80 was playing so aggressive and not letting DarkZero get any foothold in the map. So this is a situation where, yes, it is a good map for DarkZero, but M80 know the playstyle that they want to meet DarkZero on.
Map 2 we'll see coming through for M80, and it's a Chalet. I wouldn't have expected that to come through from M80. I mean, despite beating Wildcard at the start of the season, when M80 chose this map in the NAL playoffs, they struggled, losing to Oxygen in a 7-4 game. Not a team that we expect to see M80 losing against. So to bring this back out after not playing it through Manchester so far tells me they've been cooking something up.
And this is an interesting map to say the least, because this is one of DarkZero's favorite maps. So the fact that M80 is taking it, again, it goes into what you were saying. I can only hope that M80 is going to bring something here, revamp their setup, understand how DZ is playing it, and work their strats around that.
And we'll see where we end the final map. We'll go back to Nighthaven Labs, continuing on. Strong map for both of them, for sure. DZ's record is incredible. They are 6-0 on Nighthaven Labs since picking up Nafe and Bolo. They've been dominant through SI, Stage 1, and Manchester already, but that means there's a lot of plays, a lot of footage for them to review.
I think it's going to come down to, is history going to repeat itself where M80 walks away with this? Because right now they're 4-1 against DZ, or is DZ going to take it to a 4-3?
All right, thank you very much for setting things up here. Manchester, are you ready? I think they are. Let's introduce our contestants. They're coming in from North America. It's DarkZero. We've seen this squad make main stage at the Invitational back in Brazil. But can they make it happen? The deeper run they await in Manchester, England. A lot of pressure on them. How do they handle it? Big questions again on the North American squad. DarkZero! Nobody expected them to reform the way that they did. It's M80! On the squad, we got cameraman, Citizen, Noodle, and Kino himself. This squad, yeah, they might be North American in name, but good God, they're a mishmash of all you need from all over the world. Give it up for M80! Who would have expected these two to come up against one another here? Two North American squads, but only one winner. Let's bring out our interviewees, Nafe and Spoit. I repeat, Nafe, Spoit, come on over. Come on over. We got a UK national with us here, and of course, Spoit, I mean, needs no introduction, of course, coming over from Sweden. Gentlemen, you faced off against one another 1,000,001 times in North America, but also in EU in some ways. First of all, how's it feel to play against the home crowd?
It was good, man. Quite loud in there.
Are you loud? Not too shabby. Now, Spoit, there's a few people with an M80 jersey. You think they're here cheering for you?
Of course, we have our EU players, myself and 2 more over there, so let's see.
I'm loving every bit of this, though. How do you feel this is gonna go in the server itself? Because there has to be some sort of rivalry at this point.
I'm not going to say much, but one thing I will say is just make sure you don't cheer on those EU frauds. The EU frauds.
From one EU sellout to the other. Fair enough, fair enough. You got anything to respond to that, Spoit?
Let's just play the game and see what happens.
We'll meet you in the server then. Please give it up for Nafe and Spoit for DarkZero and M80. I hope you're all ready. We got Demo and XR Troika, so please, gentlemen, take it away.
Milosh, thank you very much indeed. Good evening, Manchester. We are coming at you with the 4th quarterfinal of the day, the final game to wrap up our Friday here. We've got DarkZero versus M80. And I'm going to be honest with you, Demo, I have got no idea who this crowd want.
No, I hear boos on both sides. They don't like DZ because they're mostly American and that we don't really like them. But then you've got the EU sellouts on the other side who fled the region to go and play in North America. So I think it's very difficult for teams to really come up against this crowd. Just if you're not majority British, it's quite difficult.
I think as the game goes on, it is going to become a little bit clearer. At least I hope it becomes a little bit clearer as to which team the crowd is going to root for. Maybe it isn't going to be a team, though. Maybe it is going to be individuals.
Could be a player.
Because there's some big individuals on both sides. We've got a bit of Siege legendary in the server here tonight, and I'm sure that is going to shine on through. So you guys just having a quick huddle and a team talk before we get ourselves into our first map of Cafe. The bans for this one demo. Obviously, these two teams play each other inside of the regular stage of North America. They're going to be very familiar with one another. It was always going to be a very tactical banning phase.
Yeah, I think all three maps actually favor both teams extremely well. I wouldn't say that the picks have really favored one team or another. They're very happy with how the maps have went. You look at the maps that DZ have brought into the competition. These are maps that they have already played in the competition and also won. They haven't lost them. So yeah, I think a very strong banning phase from both teams, and yeah, they're going to be really excited to get stuck into this one. I have a fun fact. Would you like to hear the fun fact?
Hit me with a fun fact.
Canadian has not taken down Cameraman in 5 years. And those guys have been to how many events?
Ooh.
Last time it was in Milan in 2019, 5 years ago.
Long, long time. We get to hear a little bit of the end
was that call?
of the huddle there from DarkZero.
Did I hear a "you're so wet" bomb? Is there somebody sweaty?
I mean, I got no idea. I imagine that there are some nerves ahead of this fixture. I think we could forgive a little bit of, a little bit of hand moisture there if that's what's going down.
Can we not drop the moist bomb?
It looks as though we are going to be getting ready to get on into Cafe. As you mentioned their demo, both of these teams very well familiar with each other. There's a big sort of, we're going to tee it up as a big rivalry there with the Cameraman Canadian thing. Both Siege royalty at this point have been around the scene for a very, very long time. And the maps, DZ, they haven't lost a single one of these maps so far here in Manchester. M80, granted, also have got a fantastic record on these maps at Manchester, but there is one that they haven't played, so there is a bit of a question mark over that third and final choice.
Cafe is where we kick things off for both of these teams, and always the first map just lays down the marker. What is the energy going to be like in this matchup? Social prediction. Oh, it's close. DZ just about getting it over the 50% line.
I think that's representative of the crowd, to be honest with you.
Crowd don't really like any of them, so...
There was a big boo for M80 coming on in. There was a reasonable boo on the side of DarkZero. We're going to get ourselves into the first map. Let's get going now. We've got 3 maps potentially ahead of us, 2 guaranteed. Which way are we going to go? There's got to be some shield bans coming here, Demo.
Got a Ying. Again, it's like crossing traffic. I have to wait a while before I can really talk about anything else. A lot of have funs in the chat. Have fun, y'all. Look, he's picking up a bit of the slang.
I was going to say he's getting converted, isn't he?
Don't even want to know what Noodles put.
Dokubi coming out there. So from the graphic that was shown on the pre-desk, we had Jesse and Lax running the desk alongside Milosh. There's a nice graphic there that explained both of these two teams that love a little bit of shield play. We got to cast DarkZero during I believe it's phase 2.
That we did.
And Canadian, he scared me. And I wasn't even in the server.
So all shields are up.
It is Cafe. We'll preference it with that, I guess. There is potential for shield play. It isn't,
especially for the kitchen.
It isn't a map that you look at and immediately go, ooh, shields. However, with the way that we saw Canadian playing it the other day and the way that we've seen Kino play it for a long, long time, it can be very deadly.
So a couple of things with the bans. Mira is up, which is always a bit of a scary one to deal with. Cafe especially, as you look towards some of the top floors, you can place them down in towards cocktail, bathroom, for example. You can play that on both the top floor and also the mid-floor sites, so there's options for them on that front. And straight away, from what I can see, is Cameraman does have the mirror ready to go. I'm just curious to see what kind of mirror windows he's actually going to be playing. I'm a big fan of the bathroom one, where you can place, reinforce 2 walls, place down the mirror window, and then you can kind of have that aggressive swing. You just walk in and out between bathroom and in between the bar stock, which, as you can see, he has set up. So that's going to be the biggest issue, I would say, for most attackers, is dealing with that mirror window specifically.
10 seconds left.
I'm not a big fan of this bomb site. I'm going to come out there and say
It's Tim.
it isn't the lowest win rate bomb site on Cafe, but it is very close.
Defuse a bomb.
It isn't the site that we see as being all too popular, and we do need to bring things like a mirror and a bit of fortification to really make the most of it. We've got the castle in there as well, which Noodle is going to be rocking. Canadian, he had hovered the Monty for a time, but has instead 6-picked off, possibly anticipating a different site to start us off here tonight.
DZ, what is their attack plan? Seems to be just really probing, I think, a lot of the utility castle barricades and exterior windows should be dealt with very early on by DZ with no real issues. I think right now, for DZ, they've really adapted, I think, their playstyle from what we used to see of them, where it was very slow, and the time just killed them so much. I think the addition of Nath has really sped things up, where he can see those openings, he can see the plays, and they could just go for it any moment in time. And speaking of going for it, Panba on the lurk, on the Deimos, they know that Citizen is downstairs. There's plenty of drone work. Citizen, you can't do that already. A filthy kill to kick things off. He has been traded out, but Ollie, a kill that should never have happened.
There's a big focus on getting rid of Citizen inside of Reading there. There was a couple of drones that went in. He managed to take a couple of those out as well, and he's just got a fantastic lineup onto the dining window. Real great awareness there, and look at what he's removed. Remove the Capital. You're going to want that to try and deal with some mirror windows. Noodle, he gets caught just in the middle of sight there. Really just on that transition there by Nath.
Look at this mirror window that they have set up. It's actually reversed, looking in towards the top of planks, in towards that single window. Again, it's very dangerous to play on that, because obviously Skylight's a thing, we know that. But if nobody actually rotates towards that rooftop, it is actually quite an easy position just to play from a defensive perspective. So that is something that we need to watch out for. That could be an issue for DZ, but with that extra man, that's where they can then rotate somebody in towards that top floor and try and lock down that angle. Plenty of utility still left in the pockets of DZ. They have the flashbangs, the nades, and of course those Bs still to come out.
The thing they've lost, of course, is the Capital, which would have been brilliant for dealing with that mirror window. You could have got that job done nice and safely from the skylight. Without that, now you've got a couple more problems to try and solve here. There's not going to be a very easy, direct way of dealing with that mirror window from below. Instead, you're going to be looking to try and make a head-on challenge, but Spoit, tucked in the freezer, grabs himself too. He catapults M80 back into this thing now. The man advantage going into the final 15.
15 seconds left.
DZ, they've stalled out and they've gave up 2 kills for it. NJR has dropped in. He's has to dodge his own flashbang because that one, my disc is there. He will flash in towards the bar stock, but tucked away in the corner Spoit is, but never mind, the swings come in that mirror window. A drop shot from Kino, a quick double kill. And M80, they win the first round.
That round really struggled to get going there for DarkZero. There was a huge stall out. And on the face of it, they might have lost someone on the way to getting rid of Citizen below, but they did a clean job of getting it traded and getting that ground and starting to take that space. It didn't seem like much of a problem. We had Canadian in below on the book. I thought he was going to start ripping open the floor, but it really just turned into a very one-by-one approach. That was the opener there, and a fantastic kill from Nath, just catching Noodle out, but there's no way of easily dealing with Spoit inside a freezer there. He's got a deployable shield. He's being covered on cross angles by mirror windows. There's wire magnets into the mixture. He can't get in vertically. M8's just decided that that was going to be the site for that round, and they were going to defend freezer with everything that they had.
Yeah, DarkZero just stalling out. It just felt as though they didn't know how to deal with the mirror windows. Again, that was the biggest issue that I mentioned. Mirror windows in Cafe are extremely strong and very potent, and you've just let them linger, twiddle down the time in towards that 30-second mark. People are going to get aggressive on you. They're going to swing you, and look what Kino did from that position.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
We're going to switch over to a mid-floor site now. We are going to go into reading and dining. one of the most popular sites on Cafe, coupled with mining and dining. Very similar win rates as well down there. It's a great site for the defenders. They can really stretch their legs and give a lot of problems for these attackers to solve. And I think, judging off what we've seen in the previous round, problems are probably a good thing at the moment to be throwing at DarkZero, because they did slow down quite a lot. Now it's the first round. They've been waiting all day for the game. You cut them a little bit of slack. But if it just starts to become a trend, then it starts to get a little bit problematic.
So M80 will be attempting a roam game. Obviously trying to hold in towards that top floor, deny the access of DZ with all the vertical pressure you can apply on Cafe. Only just the one C4 from Cameron, which is always a little bit strange on Cafe. I think it's a very heavy C4 map where we can see a lot of those down to top kind of angles where those C4s are lined up through, you know, some of the floorboards will open up and then toss them into areas. So yeah, it doesn't look as though M80 want to try and pursue that. Instead, we're bringing just a lot of guns. Like, we've got an alibi. There's only one reason why we bring this operator, and it is for that MX4 Storm. Spoit, often touted as one of the best aimers in the world. We'll see if he can do it on the MX.
He's going up against Canadian, upside down rappel, so it's never going to be an easy angle to challenge onto. He's going to take a little bit of damage there. The C4 popped out of the window, but Nath, he kicks things off, takes Spoit down. Obviously feeling a little bit of a pinch there with that distraction of Canadian on the upside down rappel as well.
There's that opening kill that Jesse talked about, that he can perform extremely well in that category. And you take down Spoit, a big player on the side of that team. Canadian, just waiting to see if he can maybe go for a bit of an approach and try and get towards that bomb site. He has burned away the Goyo canisters as well with his nades. A minute to go. Here comes DZ, here comes Nath, more importantly, straight in through. He doesn't know about the player beside him, but neither does Kino. And Nath takes him down. Kino eliminated Pamba before that, though, and it is a 3 versus 4. 50 seconds to go, and M80 on the back foot.
M80 on the back foot, but you still worry about this DarkZero stall out. They've done a good job there of clearing that top floor, but with only 40 or so seconds left remaining and no book, it's going to be difficult to get in there and really start to do the work. We're even drawing to Kairos pellets now to start getting bits of floor open, which is going to provide you an angle, but it isn't going to be a very flexible one. Cameraman's playing below. He's got himself tucked into laundry. Citizen offsite as well, ready to swing and start to challenge anyone that gets stuck in and around that pillar area. And with Noodle's position as well, M80 know they don't need to play the side, even for what little vertical there is. Cameraman grabs himself a two-piece. Brilliant work there with the SMG-11. Noodle hits one with the shotgun as well. It was all down to Canadian, but he too will fall.
Oh, a sensational set of double kills from the smoke and the mute. The shotgun SMG combo. My word. Again, DZ looks so good. And then they stall. They fall on their face. M80 holding on. Again, M80 really, I would say, very static in terms of how they were playing that defense. They didn't really move their feet.
I think they know.
Yeah.
I think they know what they need to do. They don't want to overwork this situation. The worst thing to do is to get antsy and to start giving yourself up like that. Those shots from Cameraman, that is surgical accuracy. Oh. And again, it's just like, it's like clay pigeon shooting. They're just landing in these players' laps, and the shotguns at that sort of range, they're going to do the business every single time.
DZ need to think about doing something different, because right now their initial game plan just is not working. And if in doubt, get the shields out.
I thought you were going to say timeout.
No, no, no.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think you go for this play. I think you try them on, you try that slower approach, which personally, I think Canadian has been unbelievable on the shields.
Well, they've wanted the Monty every round, and they've just been waiting for Kitchen to do it, I think. Because he's hovered the Monty at the start of every round. He switched off onto a book, he switched off onto... I can't remember.
Still mid-floor, though. So I think that the plan is, okay, let's just bring in the Monty, let's go for the safety operator, which is, again, the way that Laxing described the way that Canadian uses that operator, he is the IGL. He will gather the information for himself and then tell his team what to do. Very different to the way that M80 uses it, where Keenan will be there just to support the entries.
Different ways and both effective. But if Canadian can gain value and, more importantly, gain information off the back of that Monty push, it will be very valuable. M80, we want to see their reaction when the Monty comes through. They'll probably know at this point, they'll have heard the shield or maybe glimpsed it on a default before it got shot out. So you would anticipate that they are somewhat ready for this. They haven't got anything in their lineup directly that's going to deal with the Monty. They've not got a Legion or anything of that nature, but there are still tools that they've got at their disposal. A couple of impacts, a C4. They've got some FNATs knocking about as well. Cameraman could start thinking about activating some of those around the map. But already, look at the time difference here. Look at Canadian's position right now.
Oh, a late reinforcement from Spoit, seeing the first set of walls be opened up, and he will just try and lock it down into the kind of second wave of defense that DZ will have to try and push in towards. But that Monty, look at this, look at the ground that Canadian can cover in such a short space of time, can spot one, has eyes as well onto the white stairs. But we need somebody from DZ to help him. Troy can't do it all on his own.
Well, especially when he gets around the corner and realizes that one's just dropped as well. Now he's thinking, I'm quite vulnerable. I don't want to go onto that floor that can be ripped up. He needs to stay on that hard concrete. And M80, they can just consolidate again. They can just drop back to that next layer. Yeah, you've got all the vert you can go at now, but there's still that factor of the time.
So this is where the rotates now need to be clinical from the side of DZ. They need to set up for this plant. They have the upstairs control. Canadian has the diffuser in hand, but if he's going to try and drop the hatch, he can't actually plant inside of the train. He will have to move either in towards the dining, where there's a lot of bodies stacked up from M80, or in towards the mining room now, which he does get himself tucked in towards now. Fender Trap will go off, and he's going to just go for the plant. He's going to go for the turtle plant.
He's going to stick it even with that trap activated. The Solace is going to be able to find that out below, but I don't think they're in a position to really do anything about it. That plant's going to be confirmed, and it's going to be down to gun skill alone to win this round out. Canadian, he's in the train with the Warden right now, can charge it down, but Nate comes to the rescue. Spoit, he's able to join in on the pain as well. Citizen, conscious that someone is going to be out there, but Nate, all he has to do is lie prone. He just has to keep himself alive here, and this retake is going to be incredibly difficult. Noodle, he's already trying to disable that diffuser. Pamba comes in with 2, and DarkZero, they pick up their first round here tonight.
Much better from DZ. The Monty's the key. The Monty takes all of that ground away from M80, can dictate where the plant wants to go. Canadian straight into the mix, trying to get that diffuser planted. And then from there, it's just a very easy post plant. You have eyes on the diffuser from above. If you hold your flanks, you'll have no issues at all. And DZ have done a fantastic job at showcasing that.
Playing to their win condition as well. We think about DarkZero on the attack, and I think about this attacking team. I think about this strategic team. Something that Lax mentioned in the desk is that this is a team that is based on strategy. They do like their pocket plays. So I'm expecting to see plans from DarkZero here tonight. I'm expected to see these coordinated pushes.
Moving on, we do see all the sites unlocked now. That rotation has been done. We've seen the 3 bomb sites in a row. So upstairs is where M80 will immediately lock in. So really trying to stay away from that kitchen. Probably because they know how good DZ are attacking that.
It's got to be because of the Monty. And DZ can, we saw them perform a fantastic split take on that kitchen site as well, where they pressure both back and bakery, and they get somebody in to get the plant down. So it's no surprise to see them really shy away from that site at the moment. Instead, let's take DarkZero to somewhere where they might be a little bit less comfortable, somewhere that the Monty might not have as much value, but it will still do the job if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, for Monty moving in towards that top floor, he is really strong at just taking control of red, getting in towards cigar shop, but there is a lot more angles he has to worry about, where he kind of needs that 180-degree cone that he always just looks towards the front. If anyone just gets an angle in behind him, then he's going to be cooked. So I think really for Canadian, it's just making sure he knows his angles, don't try and overextend, and just play around the team. You know, DZ, we know they have gunners. No parties yet for Pamba, but you never know, we might be hosting one soon.
No mirror in the lineup this time from M80 either. That was one of the key successes in the previous round. I think it probably would have got quite easily dealt with this round had DarkZero known where it was going to be played. So it probably makes sense to leave that one out, but it's still going to be difficult to get rid of that player inside a freezer because of the magnets and because of that utility.
Even the player inside a bathroom, they've reinforced the wall and also brought in the Cade. They've electrified those walls. There is EMPs, though, from Canadian that they can use, but again, you need to know where the Cade was before you kind of toss them out, so that can be quite difficult. But yeah, it's the bathroom that Canadian really needs to focus on and eliminate the players who could be in that position and straight over for Canadian. There we go. He's going to be using the impact EMPs, but he doesn't know where it is. He's went for the top left, he's went for the bottom right, and he chooses wrong. But Pamba, though, has been gifted a kill. A Citizen has tried a very early flank.
I think Pamba's done a great job of watching the flank there. He's not needed at the moment inside of Piano with Canadian. Canadian can hold that on his own. He's getting support from the windows. Pamba instead was very cautious of what was going on the flank. We had both Citizen and Noodle downstairs, and now they've managed to eliminate one of those threats. You'd like to see them start trying to work off that numbers advantage and really use the Monty to bully M80 right now.
Nice little play from Noodle, just opens up the door, puts pressure onto the Capitao. Cameraman's outside. He's missed the shots, and he doesn't know that Bolo came off the rappel. Here comes Noodle, a second one, but Bolo just says, I'm out of there, because they're flooding into the site. Bolo in the 1v2. He knows one player's behind him. He has to try and make this individual kill onto Kino. The shotgun round the corner. He wins that one. My, oh my, what a hectic finish.
Chaos from M80. They were just bored of waiting for anything to happen. They were like, you know what, we're just going to make something happen ourselves.
Ooh.
I think we're finding out.
We're finding out.
I think we're slowly finding out.
What, they sent G2? No, they... Weeks ago, mate. You've missed them.
3-1 lead currently for M80. That's the kind of exciting brand of Siege that I like to see this team play as well. Cameraman, he took his chance there. He picks up NJR.
Oh.
But it was the second attempt that you've really got to give him a lot of credit for.
And it's the monkey kill there for me. Like, killing the monkey.
Brilliant.
Canadian just runs at him, but gets kneecapped. Kicks the crutch right underneath him.
And that's it. The Monty sometimes is only as good as the teammate on your shoulder. You can use the Monty to be aggressive. You can funnel the defenders. You can even bash them and charge them to the ground. But you can't always do it on your own.
Like I said, there's a few things there that DZ just kind of missed. Throwing the impact EMPs, not knowing where the K-Claw is. The bathroom player is safe. I love the way that Noodle moved downstairs, opens up the door, puts pressure onto the Capitao. Just those little minute things just making DZ feel very uneasy.
And it's M80 they're putting in that position. Look at what they're bringing. They've got a Mozzie, they've got a Mute. It's going to be a nightmare to try and get a drone in there to figure out where that information is. You're going to need to bring something like an IQ. And that is exactly what Pamba has got this round. It should help them isolate that utility a little bit more, because it seems as though the drone game is struggling just a little bit.
Information is key, we know that. Plenty of info as well, just on the side of M80 by bringing in those Maestro cameras. Valkyrie Band, I suppose, is a good option as well. You can still get 3 of them, and they come with added effects. The laser mechanic, again, can also deny drones. Don't forget that. You can sit in the camera, see a drone come in towards Piano, just shoot it off straight away.
Bomb located by attackers.
Kino's been fantastic so far.
Yeah.
6-2 right now. They're being given quite a lot of favorable engagements to that sort of close range with the shotgun. Canadian, he's going to take a ton of damage there.
Activating Selma. Swapping mags.
Try and get a bit of value out of those Selmas before he falls off. Noodle misses out narrowly on the drone there, but Citizen can come in and clean that one up as well, further just whittling down this utility and this info that DarkZero have to work with.
All quiet at the moment. Not a lot happening really for both sides. Again, DZ, is it a case of they're just too slow at the moment? Aren't really inside of the building yet either. And don't forget that this is a mid-floor site. They have taken control of Train, but I would say for M80 they're happy enough with that, as Citizen has destroyed Nafe of that angle. Nafe was there for a very long time, hoping to find a bit of a cheese kill. Bolo was found one, but Pamba on the creep around, down through 90 he goes, hunting for anything he can find, but M80 have backed off, Ollie. They're so passive now.
And they can retake that top floor because DarkZero, they've got no presence up there. They can now start to work with verticals. There's plenty of shotguns to go around, and they can start to reopen some of these angles. Pamba, he gets caught out there, and the pre-fire is successful onto Cameraman as he does try to double dip, but his location now known. Kino, can he find the kill? We'd only just been praising him, and Pamba's picked up 2. A good position now for DarkZero to find themselves in. Citizen, he's going to have to make something happen here. He gets some damage in, but can't commit to the engagement. He has to dip away. The C4 comes out. Is it going to land? Yes, plant, stop, diffuser cold. Citizen now, 1 versus 3. He's only got the Roni. He's got to make this work. Panda goes down. Citizen, he's got time to hit the reload. He's full white flash, laid prone, but NJR swings the corner. And DarkZero pick up another round.
So close for Citizen. Essentially takes 4 with him. I have no where he gets 4.
With the Roni.
With the Roni, you have 17 bullets as well. What a game so far.
Now, was the M80 chant louder than the DZ chant?
I don't know. We might have to test it.
I think there was a little bit more love for M80. We're going to be in a technical pause at the moment. There are a couple of M80 players missing from the lobby, as you can see on the screen in front of the players there. Maybe a good moment to take a little bit of the heat out of this one for a time, because it's hotting up in the server right now.
Big time.
There's a potential for an even half here.
I think DZ, they've really found the success. I think they've really got into their mojo. They've got into the rhythm now, where M80 just looked as though they were having fun, didn't really have to do a whole lot. Now DZ, they know how they want to play. Look, Pamba that round, all on him, being able to move in, seeing that gap, seeing that opening, find the 2 kills. You know, this was such an important one as well. If he dies, round's done. So Pamba, man of the minute. Citizen, so close, just too many flashbangs to deal with.
Well, and it goes to show how powerful flashbangs are at the moment. We are really approaching a flashbang meta at the minute.
Don't need no Ying.
Who needs Ying when you've got a Nomad with 3 flashbangs on them? Do apologize, we are still struggling to get the M80 players in the lobby, but I can see that one of them has rejoined. So hopefully we can get ourselves underway.
Big game. Winner of this goes on to play BDS tomorrow. Huge game.
Now I know for a fact there's a lot of love for BDS in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Looks like we are back into things now. I'm going to be rejoining here at round number 6. We haven't missed a beat of the action right now. We are going to be going for the final defensive round for M80 down to that kitchen. An unusual choice to see at this stage because they've sort of shied away from it for the majority of their defense rounds.
Yeah, very strange to see it be brought in as the final round. I really just thought they were going to stay away from it. DZ, we've seen them a few times on Cafe that they can just decimate this kitchen defense with such perfection. Straight away, you can see the Monty be brought in, which is really the key factor that DZ use, and that's how they really make it work. So usually for DZ, it's just going to be trying to take control of the top floor, get the ram in, open up the vertical angles, and then just think about where they want to go using the Monty. Again, you have 2 options. You can go for that bakery side, or you can try and push in towards that VIP and restaurant. Goyo canister burn very early on also, which is one thing to add. Whenever I say, you know, teams will then late rotate over towards VIP restaurant or towards bakery, eliminating that Goyo canister very early on is significant in the kind of time scale of how this kind of bomb site plays out.
Well, it goes to on the Wamai magnet placement as well, because it was the nade that goes through. The magnet grabs the nade, and then if that's close enough, it is going to explode. So it stops something quick, but at the same time, you maybe want the Goyo canister for a little bit later on. Canadian, he's going to be sniffing around the bottom of white stairs at the moment. He will have Noodle to contend with. Noodle playing a very typical position there with the shield in tow. No doubt he'll have a magnet there as well to assist him. And with that wall soft, Kino can also add into this.
I'm reloading!
A very wise decision there from Canadians, just trying to get upstairs and maybe look at getting the hatch open. He does have the hard breach gadgets as well. Then you do have Pamba also rocking those gadgets. See if they can get the hatch open. Cameraman and the Echo is going to have to be key right now to try and help Noodle in that aggress, because 9 times out of 10 you'll probably see the Monty head down in towards VIP and restaurant. You need to try and support him. You need to try and use those Echo cams Very wise decision from Citizen. Reinforces that wall, so the vertical angles no longer play a factor into that position. He can play very close in that double door and just swing with not having to worry about being shot from above.
Because the ram can deal with the floor, but the butt can also deal with the soft walls below, and you can shoot the skeleton key through, as Pamba's doing now. But with that wall reinforced, it does just give a little pocket of safety to work in as the defender.
Oh!
Nate's gonna get absolutely destroyed by Kino there. The pre-fire was coming out, and you thought, oh, it looks pretty good, though. Everything's lining up here, and Kino just pops up out of nowhere.
Canadians drop, though. They have not taken control of VMP and Restaurant, but Canadian doesn't care. He's going to try and go for the plant in towards Sinks. Is anyone here to try and stop it? Where's the Echo? Where are the Yokai drones? Is it going to be successful? Yes, it will. And now we need to see the post-plant retake coming in from M80. DZ pulled a fast one. Kills start to roll on in for DZ. Kino, good night. The Monty's right beside you, lad. Cameraman, where were your cameras, mate? Looking for another one, but the Monty's just toying with him. Canadian takes him down, assisted by Pamba, and NGR cleans up the final. Where has that came from?
Cameraman didn't know which way to look there. He was looking left, right, up, down. He's got a Monty bearing down on him. There's pings upstairs. The Yokai drone was rotating. It was going through wheel room into mining, for goodness sake.
Oh boy, oh boy.
We've seen that push from Canadian in phase 2. We saw him get himself in through, whether he drops the hatch or comes in through freezer wall. And he just saw so much free real estate and thought, you know what? I've probably got enough time to plant. Pamba can rotate in. He starts providing cover about halfway for the plant going through. And the next minute, you know, it's a nightmare situation of a retake.
It's just that gap. And they take full advantage of it. We've seen the rotate try and come in. Echo, no hope at all. MGR just does a job upstairs again. Hasn't had the flashes of games, but he's doing his job. You know, he is flank protection.
And that's what you want. That is what you want from a player like NJR. You want him to be rocking that Nomad, locking down those flanks.
I know they're an NA team, guys, but we don't have to do an NA chant.
I like it. The crowd's warming up to DZ at this point.
Is that the favourites?
I mean, if we're going to judge entirely based off noise.
Where's Tom? Tom, you promise so much, yet deliver so little.
Who is it on DZ specifically that we're cheering for?
Is it Nath?
Are we cheering for Nath?
I think so.
I mean, we've got support for Nath.
London born and bred. British finest.
What about, I don't know, somebody like Bolo?
What about that guy?
What about Canadian?
Everyone loves him.
Everybody loves Canadian.
Of course.
Everybody loves Canadian. Especially when he rocks the big bad Canadian tag.
Classic. Staple.
It's a stage classic.
Yeah. M80 just wavering a little bit in the final 2 rounds there. So they need to think about what they can do on their attacks. So obviously that's the first half done. 6 attacks completed by DZ. They walk away with 3. Not bad.
I think it's good considering the start they had.
Yeah.
And not just because they lost the first 2 rounds, it was the way that those first 2 rounds were lost. Since then, they've really started to pick up the pace, and we've started to see them play to their win conditions. We've started to see them bully the way in, get the plant down. The Monty has started to work. And it was maybe just a belief thing at the start, because the Monty probably would have worked right from the get-go, especially with the way that it's been supported and played. M80 on the flip side, we've seen that level of aggression. We've also seen some big individual plays. 2 3Ks so far. We've had Kino and Citizen, but multi-kills as well. I think about the first round, 2 2Ks. Just people in the right place at the right time winning those engagements.
Kino's relaxing. Oh, a little hurt to the camera. Again, Kino coming back after being benched for SI. Comes back into the side, and honestly, some of the best he's played at this tournament. I was a little bit worried, thinking he didn't have the greatest of years. I mean, to be fair, none of them really did for M80. It was not a good year for that team. But Kino coming back into it. You always worry as well, him and the Monty. We've seen some blue... We've seen blue stairs issues before.
It's flashbacks.
PTSD more like it, but sure.
Maybe we'll get some here. Side switch and DarkZero head on to their defense side. M80. They will be attacking for the next 6 rounds, and I am certain that we will see a Monty come out of there at some point. Kino is far too well known for it to leave it there on the bench.
Yeah, and again, it just plays into the point that, you know, Lax made the 2 differences between the Monty, and hopefully we'll be able to see that. You'll see the difference in the way that Kino will use that operator. It is about relaying information to all of the killers on that side, and there's a lot of them. You know, obviously you've got Noodle, who's had a great tournament so far. Spoik speaks for himself, but Citizen as well. Again, I think people forget what that guy did to everybody inside of Europe back in 2020, 2021. He was going toe-to-toe with Shaiko, and that was, you know, talking Quiff Shaiko, by the way. This is unbelievable. Yeah, this is the Shaiko, the Quiff Shaiko.
That's the hairstyle, if anyone's unfamiliar.
I think everyone knows.
Mid-floor we go. Breeding and dining here for DarkZero to kick things off. They showed a restraint on the attack. They showed a patience, and at some points we questioned whether it was too slow. I'm not sure if we're going to see that same level of pace here from M80. I believe it is going to be a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the lineup that they're bringing. They are wanting to move with pace.
Yeah, people also need to realize who the IGL is. It's Cameraman. He's going to be bringing in that Brazilian style of siege. You've seen what he's done with FaZe Clan for so many years, you know, how quick they were able just to open up a bomb site like it was nothing, how quickly they can just hit you from all angles. And you can see that kind of come through with M80. You know, they're not a slow team. They are very quick. They want to get into the action. They have the players to do so. And really, they show no fear. A lot of the time, they just go at it. And I think also using the Monty in that way, where you can, currently in the state of siege with how Monty's being played, you can go extremely aggressive in a matter of instances. You can go from passive, and straight away you're running at a guy, bouncing them across the map.
Nate's going to be tucking himself into the freezer for now. Can hear Rotero drones going out. Maybe thinking about a C4 out onto the white window there. C4's out onto the windows. Even with the new lineup, it can be so difficult to land that.
Oh, look at this. There's a face looking at him. Oh, Kino, there's a guy in that mirror window, and he will clear him out. Look at this from the Monty. He has disabled essentially both of the mirror windows by pushing off that player. Massive play.
Especially now, Citizen can start to work that utility and zone off those areas so that it can't be retaken. Pamba is going to be playing just on the hatch inside a Cocktail. NJR dodging the flashbangs as they come in, but Cameraman just gives himself up. The air jab wasn't ideal, and it didn't activate until it was too late. Spoik going to be the next player to fall to Bolo. There is a bit of vert available here, but you've lost your book. You've lost that primary source of ripping that floor open.
2 minutes and 2 kills is not worth gaining top floor control. It's just not. So M80 playing from behind. The Monty is still alive, so plants could possibly be something that they can look towards and just hope that the Monty will stick it and it works for them. But there's going to be a lot of guns pointed towards said Monty. Kino does get himself in position, but Noodle, he's the one with the diffuser who will now drop it. Well, he tried to drop the diffuser to him, but no, where are we going? Canadian gives himself up to Noodle, and now Kino's thinking about trying to get the plant down. He will just turn and try and get this onto his back, but he's just waiting for Citizen to have full control of those vertical angles and wait to give that call.
Citizen can zone this off from above. We can hear the Capital utility getting sent in now, and Kino will find one onto Pamba. Bolo gets the kill back as a direct trade, but we drop into the fire. Citizen, unfortunately, the Capital utility was still in effect. Allows Bolo just to swing on the corner and take Kino down. The time really starting to be a factor there. If they'd have had a little bit more, they might have been able to wait out that fire and then make that play.
You've seen the idea from M80. On the back foot, they just have to try and get the plant down. They use the Capital from above to try and almost use the fire arrows as your 4th and 5th man to cover an angle. But I'm pretty sure as Noodle lost his engagement and immediately Citizen knows, I just have to get down there. I need to try and help my teammate. But then he drops into his own flames. That's the issue with it. But yeah, just not enough time. You know, it was very frantic. So that kill there from Bolo was a swing, and then, yeah, Citizen just have to go for it now, but not enough time just for M80 to really do anything. Massive round from Bolo.
You've got to feel sorry for Citizen there, because he's just on the edge of it as well. If he had access to the other side of that hatch and he was able to drop on the back side of it, he probably avoids a lot of that damage. But he was already extremely softened up from an earlier engagement. DarkZero, they can take a narrow lead now for the first time in the series. They're going to be taking us downstairs into the bakery.
No idea whatsoever. Has Rocket taken off on the back or something? I don't know.
We can't see what's going on, I'm afraid.
Have we missed New Year's already?
We are. we are purely at your mercy.
We don't know. It's probably somebody doing a shoey or something like that.
It's got to be else.
That would be my guess. I hear that song. I definitely somebody's drinking something. I know that. I know that song. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good for them.
Just do it responsibly, please. Kino on the Monty, looking for a drop at the top of these red stairs. Do, of course, have a couple of newbies in the mix as well. You've got to hear that Canadian Solus play to perfection.
He gets so much grief for playing the Solus. I've seen the threads, I've seen the comments, I've seen everything. Get him off the Solus. Eat your words now. Eat your words.
He picks up 1 kill.
Doesn't matter. Respect.
It's certainly a big part of the pushing factor and the force that M80 were trying to bring here. Pambazu, relatively quiet so far. He's going to grab himself one as well. Citizen down and out.
Oh,
Cameraman as well. Pamba's really not done here. Feeling confident enough to make that rotation, potentially get himself upstairs. Nate at the close range. Thinks about the toxic bait, but it just catches on the door frame. Where's left to go here for M80?
what is going on with M80? It looks to be a head loss round. They're just running at them and hoping it works out. I mean, losing the Monty obviously is not ideal, but then just to toss the round away in the fashion that they're doing, it's just not good enough. DZ can just sit back, kick their feet up. They still have roamers who can pounce at any given moment. Cameraman has ended up in red corner now. Bit of info as well being fed through. Echo Cam is gone, but still Cameraman in a good position in towards Coat, but nobody from DZ has given him any picks.
Well, Nate's still not been displaced from Wedding. He's going to be just inside a bakery now. You can see him draw for that shotgun. He's going to down Cameraman on the hop up there. Spoit starts to take a little bit of damage there. Pamba, he'd rotate all the way upstairs, and there's only 20 seconds left. Now the bottom of red is cut off by the toxic gas from Smoke. Spoit, he knows where Nate's playing, but guess what? Another canister is on its way, and the time is going to do the rest here for DarkZero, showing incredible discipline here in round 8.
Time's up for Spoit. DZ have settled nicely into this match. Is that 4 rounds on the bounce, I believe?
They're starting to find some momentum, aren't they? Slow and slightly shaky start, but 4 rounds in a row is enough to force M80 into a tactical timeout. This looks very direct.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you.
IGL is the main vocal point. That is specifically who the coach tries to go for, because he's the one who, you know, if the coach isn't there, kind of like the deputy, isn't he? He's the one who has to try and control the team. And that's really who Vivas is just trying to target. It's just get Cameraman, get him settled down. To look very, just calm down. It's okay, because I think from Vivas' perspective, he's just seen his team just run at them, and nothing really came of that. So let's see if this timeout will be effective for M80. 2 sites locked out for DZ. Kitchen gone, reading gone, so there is still that top floor or the mining and dining that they can go for. Wonder what the preference is going to be.
Look at Nath here. Great play there from just inside a bakery.
Doesn't have to move his feet.
It was just another situation of DZ just really choking them out there.
Yeah. They can't still be at it. Oh, of course
There it is.
It had to be him. There's only one it could be.
Hang on a minute.
Hold up. We'll avoid that. Oh, here we go again. Didn't see. I don't know who it was. You don't get your 5 seconds of fame. You don't get that. Anywho, shall we get back to the game?
Round 9.
Not... People. We have a game to watch, everyone. This is why we're here, is it not? We're not here to watch the game. Does no one like the game anymore? Are we bored of the game? NA Snooze Fest, no one cares, is that it?
Oh, there's fans for both in the arena, I'm sure. We've already
few.
heard that.
I could maybe count them on my fingers.
No, I've seen plenty of DZ jerseys out there. Seen plenty of M80 jerseys as well. Round 9. We will be headed to the alternate mid-floor site here.
Just looking at the setup right now from M80, it seems to be a much slower pace kind of round where they're just looking to kind of gain control of the utility battle, where they're trying to eliminate a lot of the key factors. And hang on a minute, they've opened up a wall and cameraman is in for the plant, and he will try and stick it now. With that wall being reinforced, nobody can retake from bottom red stairs. Is nobody home? Is nobody home for DarkZero? The plant will go down. Cameraman gets everything tossed at him, and he still... I think things are going to go in favor of M80 just because they have that diffuser in that position. Spoit can now hold on the top red stairs. NGR in the window looking to swing on to that upside down rappel, who has just eliminated Canadian. NGR is tucked in. Can he try and stick this? Is anyone there to stop him? A jump out comes in, but it gets eliminated. Bolo above, the diffuser is ticking away. Is nobody here? Is there going to be an angle being found? Yes, there will be. M80 stop the diffuse. Nafe down and out. Bolo upstairs, drops the hatch, is going to be his only option. Pancake flops into the action, but he goes as well. M80 make it happen.
Been a while since we've heard a bit of love there for M80, and with good reason. That was the first round that they have won in the previous 4.
An almost identical round of what happened between DZ and Beast Coast during the group stages, where it was just Monty sees that wall reinforced and he just tries to run in and get that diffuse off, and it's a very difficult kind of post-plant to really retake. But almost the diffuse, you can get tucked in towards that corner. It's a bit of a blind spot as well, especially if you have upstairs control. What happened?
Crowd aren't happy about something.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Nope.
We've heard boos for everything today. It could be anything.
They booed everything.
It could be something very actually good.
Very negative, guys.
It could, well, I think Parker started it all off when he said that he likes boos.
Is that so? So we just blame Taro?
Well, to be honest,
I'm happy with that. No. Don't you have to go any further. That's it. You've said what you need. Blame him. That's it. Let's go on to the cast.
I don't mind a boo either. I don't mind a boo either. Top floor we go to then for round number 10 here. Only one round in it so far. DarkZero are successful here. They'll be put onto a map point. However, the timeout from M80, it worked. It picked them up around on the attack, which they desperately needed. Now, we've not got a Monty in play. I doubt we're going to see something too... Oh, sorry, we do have Kino on the Monty in play. So maybe we do see something a little bit quicker.
Double shields.
The thing that is the most strange is that we've got Spoit on the Blitz.
Spoit on Blitz. I never thought I'd see the day.
We know he's great with a gun in his hand, and we know that Blitz does have a gun, but it isn't an AR, is it?
No, I'm really intrigued to see Spoit on the Blitz. I know where he gets his tips and tricks from. We'll keep that source anonymous. But I am curious about this one. Looks to be a red drop, perhaps, and just trying to go straight in towards the bomb site. Could be an option. Kino's the one with the diffuser, though. He's the player that we need to try and watch out for, who takes a more passive approach, straight in towards Piano, looking to pressure the player in towards Pixel. Down goes the Blitz. Spoits are nothing. Whoever he took Blitz advice from has not done him well, but the Monty is successful. Takes out Pamba. before being traded off. NJR using the UMP to devastate in effect. And Noodle, no hope at all. DZ flying high. Match point.
NJR getting the job done there. When DarkZero needed it the most, it's always terrifying when you've got two shields bearing down on you. They've definitely got the crowd behind them now.
(6-4). DZ have the defense. We head to Reading, a bomb site that DZ have already won. M80 struggled with the last time. They just couldn't really get their kills over the board, and it seems to be very hit or miss for M80. I would say that DZ, even though M80 have won 4 rounds, it just feels as though DZ have been the more dominant side. Remember, DZ win rounds, they win them with ease, whereas M80 have really had the scrap in this matchup.
There's been a couple of scrappier rounds from the side of M80. I think back to some of the jump outs that we saw when they were on the defense. They were looking for that advantage. They were looking to take that one-on-one gunfight, really isolate someone, take them by surprise, and use that gun skill to their advantage. And why wouldn't they? The problem is, DarkZero, they've played a better game so far. And the scoreline's very representative of what we've seen, in my opinion. A 6-4 here on Cafe. It goes well. DarkZero, they have been the more structured side. And some of these M80 attacks, they've just washed over. And they've not had that devastating impact. There's not been that killer instinct there.
So M80, to keep themselves in this map, their attack will be centric around that top floor clear out. The Brava comes in as well, see if they can hack any of those Maestro cameras that are going to be available for Canadian to use. One that will get shot, but still maybe try and find another one if he has it placed elsewhere, because he has none in the pocket at the moment from Noodle's perspective. Maybe all of them are gone, I don't know. Cameraman working on the windows with the air jab placed right on the windowsill. Flashbang as well, a C4 in return! Oh, almost gets Cameraman. It will take out his air jabs though. But M80 maybe looking to pounce into the site.
2 kills there for M80, and they're not finished there. Canadian, he's got the Alder in his hand, and he's going to have to make it work for him. Pamba, he's able to take Spoit down. 3 versus 3 right now. Noodle has got himself here into Reading. He's going to get choked out there. Nothing that he can do about that. Downed out by Nath. Canadian, he's going to be on half health, looks to be cautious in his next engagement. Citizen could recover the diffuser, but he too gets taken down by the mighty Alder. 2 kills on the round for Canadian, and only Cameraman left to go through. There is going to be information on him up there as well, unless the BP has been hacked. But look at the kit, it's cold on the floor, gets caught out there by the beeper. I'm almost certain that DarkZero are going to know exactly where he is now, and there's a whole minute for him to try and work with.
What a horrendous position for that diffuser to be placed. Right in an open corridor with about 3 different crossfires looking onto it. Cameraman can hope that DZ will give him a pick, but the way DZ have been playing, they've been so passive. They don't give anything. They take everything and give nothing back. So Cameraman, he needs a moment of sheer brilliance. Can he harness what he did at Atlanta, where he had a great play back then? Checking every corner, but it's not enough. Pamba with a finishing blow on Cafe. DarkZero, 1 map up in this NA Derby.
The scoreline of 7-4 on Cafe. DarkZero take what by all accounts is a convincing win there. Played better Siege on the night so far. And we were expecting that. We looked at the maps and we said, these are good maps for DarkZero. We're expecting them to perform here. I wonder now what our desk thinks. What did they expect? We're going to send it over.
Thank you very much, Ollie and Demon. Yes, we are back. DarkZero take the lead 1-0 on Cafe Dostoevsky against M80. But hey, Welcome back to the desk. I'm Milosh, with me are Jesse and Laxing. Gentlemen, let's break things down.
Strong showing on Cafe. This is DarkZero's map pick, and at the start of that game, it looked like M80 were really starting to run away. They got the first 2 rounds, and we started thinking, okay, Spoit is showing up. He's shooting well today. We saw a little bit of goofiness in round 2 for DarkZero, but then they start getting the plant down. They start playing shields. DarkZero drop back to a 3-3 split going into the second half. And then we get to see DarkZero's defenses, and they completely slam M80 through that second half, only giving up a single round.
Yeah, and Pamba having a really good game, but I just want to emphasize on DZ's playstyle. If you're going to play against an aggressive team, you have to meet them with that same aggression, or you have to play together, play those trades, play those crossfires, and force those engagements and end up walking away with those rounds, and DZ played that perfectly against M80.
Honestly, DarkZero giving up 0 space on those defenses, always making sure they get those opening picks, contesting M80 early, not allowing them to get all of the top floor or all of this ground for free. They always had to fight for it, and they always lost bodies.
All right, like you said, Pamazoo on top, but from the M80 side, they looked a bit shaky, especially when we saw both M80 and the Blitz pick together. That was desperation.
To me, it goes into, 100% desperation is you aren't finding the success that you want, so you're going to try to force that play, but it goes into what I was just talking about of DZ playing into their strength of playing together and forcing crossfires that ultimately shuts that down.
Yeah, I mean, Demo said it on the cast. He didn't think he'd ever see Spoit playing Blitz, and after that, we probably won't ever see him playing it again.
Yeah, but, you know, we've seen a lot of shield play in this game. What if we've localized on it even more? Do we have a comparison, Jesse?
We do, Milosh, because we saw this great shield play from Canadian in round number 6, where he literally sneaks the plant in under the noses of M80. He drops the hatch. The Warden inside of VIP not watching it. Noodle doesn't catch this. Cameraman's busy on his drone. He doesn't catch this. Nobody is aware, and that's the key thing for DarkZero. They're so good at identifying those gaps, taking advantage of it, and by the time M80 realized what was going on, the damage had already been done. Canadian gets that down and then finds a couple of beautiful kills with the pistol end of this round as well.
And this is where the difference that I was talking about, comparing the 2 shield players of Kino and Canadian. Canadian is their IGL. He's going to be the one setting the team up for success and taking that initiative. And you can see when he jumped in there, he had Pamba immediately falling behind that. They end up securing the round. We're going to go into another video that shows how Kino ends up playing the shield. And when Kino ends up playing this shield, he does everything by himself. He's droning by himself. He's clearing by himself. You see right here, Troy catches him. Sure, he is pulling out the goo mine, but again, he could have had a teammate follow up on that. Maybe could have had a trade, but it goes into what I was talking about. M80 or Kino specifically plays a lot more of an aggressive shield than more of a passive, gaining that information and setting his team up for success.
With a team like DarkZero, you can just slow things down and gain it to your advantage.
100%. And so when we look at the shield difference between both M80 and DarkZero, both teams are great shield teams, right? I know Kino gets a lot of flack, but he is a good shield player.
Absolutely.
We saw Cameraman getting on it a little bit this game too. I do think they need to consider going into map 2, do we want to ban this out? Because while M80 are a good shield team, man, Canadian looks so good with it.
I think it just comes down to they just need to be a little more coordinated if they want to use the shields, and how strong shields are right now. They have to have the coordination and teamwork that DZ is displaying with their shield use.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll need to look back at this once we get into map number 2, but we'll take a quick break. First of all, one more time is showing Operation New Blood.
This is what we've been training for.
There is no angle we can't cover. We are Rainbow.
Reporting for duty.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blast R6 Manchester Major. Live it up, Manchester! And here we are, DarkZero getting ready to sweep this 2-0 unless M80 can fight back on map 2. More on that here on the Analyst Desk. Hi, I'm Milos. With me are Jesse and Laxing. And Jesse, much like DarkZero, we gotta cook before we get into this one.
We really do, and I hope DarkZero have been chefing things up in the back because they're headed to a map that I don't think they were expecting to play on today. Chalet being picked by M80. It's not a map I thought we'd see them bring out due to the fact that they haven't really been loving this map. They haven't played it a ton. They beat Wildcard at the start of the season when they chose the map in the NAL playoffs, but then they struggled against Oxygen in a 7-4 game. That's not the type of performance you'd expect from a team right before they pick a map in their most important BO3 of the year so far.
Absolutely, it makes you question, how are they coming here prepared? Do they have strats ready? And if they do, I'm expecting something aggressive. If they are going to bring the shields, I'm expecting a little better shield play, given that what we saw most recently in Cafe. But I am confident that M80 aren't giving up here and that they do have something ready for DZ.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Manchester, there's a player from the UK on both of these teams. Who do we hear to win? Give it up for DarkZero. Give it up for M80. Give it up for our casters. Exer Troika Demo, take it away.
Thank you very much indeed, Milos. We are more than ready to get into our second map here. We're going to be headed to Chalet. Demo, you have just told me that you do not want this to be a 2-map series. You want it to go all the way. You want to get stuck into the trenches late on tonight. Let's see how these two teams face off against one another. Cafe, a little bit of a more one-sided affair. Obviously, we saw DarkZero coming out the winners there. The social vote, it's crept a little bit the way of DarkZero. And I'll be honest, I think the crowd is starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah, I think the crowd's actually locked on and said, hang on a minute, these M80 guys, they don't know what they're doing. They're just running around.
Well, let's go. We are going to be getting into Chalet right about now. And here we are straight into the ban phase. What are we going to find? We saw shield play galore on Cafe. Both sides making good use of shields. DarkZero definitely had the upper hand on that shield play though. M80, this is their chance to remove it. They are going to be taking away that Monty. Canadian, you have got a target on your back.
The bounty on him. What's the first defender gonna be? Oh! Solus, they've literally went for Canadian. They've went for his jugular. You've taken away his Monty and his Solus.
The head of the snake.
Many people would think you've actually done DZ a favor by taking away the Solus.
The Azami coming in to round out our banning phase there. That's a heavy target. A heavy target indeed. Obviously, the Solus warrants a ban. Naturally. It's banned an incredible amount. The Azami as well. The Monty, I'm curious that it was left in for the first map and then removed for the second.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a bigger problem than M80 thought it was going to be.
I think for the Monty, then you have to play possibly different operators to deal with that. And more importantly, you kind of have to have a bit more team play if you want to try and deal with the Monty, which I would say for M80, they have players there who just want to go off and do their own thing. I think that's an element of their team, so I think it makes sense. But DZ on the defense, usually the less favored side that we see it is attacker's side at the end of the day. But we do have a Ying on the board, an operator that Kino was very well adjusted to. So that is certainly something that I think M80 can get going for them in Chalet, is having that very strong operator in the form of the Ying.
Well, that's the flip side, isn't it? If you're going to take the Monty out, you're going to leave something else in. And in this instance, it is going to be the Ying that slips on through. The Dokkaebi removed there by DarkZero. Not something that they want to be messing around with here on their defense of Chalet, which is the side that they will be starting on here. And they are putting a lot of attention into this setup. There's extensive lines of sight being set up there.
See now with DZ in their setup, obviously bringing the castle barricades. It's going to block away some of the important windows as well. Don't forget, you know, Chalet, a lot of windows. We've talked about the balconies you can play off, so there are certainly options that I would say DZ can have, just to have a bit more safety, of course. And whenever you're dealing with M80 where they can have a few rat players, you can go for those kind of cheese picks. Yeah, it's not a bad idea just to have that extra layer of protection.
Still firmly in the information gathering stage of the round. Drones getting placed in and around the map. Library for the meanwhile is clear, but it's almost a little bit of a trap. It's a bait and a switch because of how much of that wall is going to be open, how much of that line of sight is going to be available. And with the castle barricades in there, you've got to be able to deal with those castle barricades if you get in. You don't want to get caught out there. They're going to see the wall open now. It's going to be Noodle to get that job done. Going to be able to get himself into the top of West Main there and get nicely established.
I wonder if the Canadian on the Capcan might be able to pick up something. I mean, we've seen a fair amount of that already today in the series that we cast at Ollie. There's Capcans left, right, and center, so it could be an option. But right now for M80, it's just very slow at the moment. It's just focusing on getting all of the walls open, and then you start to target those key positions, of course. NGR's going to come under a lot of fire, but he wins the first engagement against Noodle. Yings go in. Here comes the flank, though. Is anyone watching it on the side of M80? Cameraman finds Nath. Straight in through the breach. Kino will go. He's looking for the kill, and he gets it. On to NGR. Pamba, though, has found a flanking kill, but now his location is known.
Well, he can now start to use this breach against M80. He's got plenty of information to be going off here as well, and with Spoit so low, it's only going to take one bullet. Kino, he's going to start to try and get that plant down, removes the default camera. Pamba and Canadian, what are they able to cook up here? Spoit, he grabs Pamba there on the cross, and Canadian still playing from below. No C4 left, already used, and a very difficult retake on his hands here. He's trying to get to the top of Solar and get himself established in there, but it's always going to be difficult.
Oh, M80 feeling it now. First round on the board. That's always the most important one to set the tempo. Crowd rallying behind M80.
M80 look fired up.
I mean, they need to. One map and they're done. They need to win this map to push us in to map 3, into labs. If we get there is where it will be decided. I like the game plan from M80, using the Ying, a very strong operator. It was, a pretty generic attack on most parts. That's the way I think most teams will attack that, but it's successful. You know, that's the recipe of success. If you can just copy that, then you get the consistency, and then you'll win games.
It's fine if it works.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If it works, it's brilliant. They did a great job of getting a couple of opening picks, a really good job of opening that wall nice and early. And DarkZero, they kind of gave a lot away over to M80 there. Not only in terms of space, but how easy it was for them to get that wall open. Everything's available to deny walls. You're not always going to bring it on Chalet because there's more value in other things. But there's still that, you know, is there a two-brow in the future, you know, just to sort of slow that down a little bit? Can you squeeze that into the lineup with what you bring in? Especially if you look over and you see, well, Canadians on the vigil. So yeah, sure, they might be playing the Deimos and stuff. You might be trying to keep yourself a little bit safe, but realistically, there might be a bit more room for utility in there.
I get that, but this is Canadians' kind of roaming bomb site that he likes to go for. It would be the Solus, but it has been banned away from him, so he thinks, okay, what's another operator that I can roam with that can also deny some form of drones? Oh, Vigil, that's going to be his pickup. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on Canadian, see how he wants to maneuver around this map. M80 again with a very aggressive lineup. And Spoit on the Finca. I think everyone knows what that boy did in Berlin on that operator. Look, not as strong back, you know, as what it used to be back in the day, but still, he can be a real demon on it.
Nath does have a C4 to use here, and he did look tempted for a time, but instead he's just going to take the utility soak, flashbang, the Lion Scan, and the Capital Ball, get himself dropped back into the site and keep himself safe. Wasted a little bit of time. I say keep himself safe. He took a ton of damage there. It sounded like a nade that went off nearby. And it does still leave Bolo upstairs on that fireplace. He has got Pamba in tow, and with what Pamba's got set up for himself here, he's got a couple of nice little options.
It's a very significantly weaker bomb site to hold without the Azami, because you just cannot play in towards that fireplace as safely as what you would like. So I think DZ, they will be up against it, just based on the bans for this site specifically. Pamba now being tracked by the Deimos, can barely hit a drone right now, let alone see if he can eliminate a Deimos chasing him. Citizen just going to let him run away, though. Just trying to feed that information over to his side. Pamba relocates. towards the solar stairs, waiting to see if anyone wants to try and swing in, but Noodle is on the prowl below. Another drone. Pamba, they just keep coming at him, and Noodle secures his kill. Pamba off the mark. Canadian with the vigil. Remember, he can't be tracked with the Deimos.
Does have a chance here at a nice little angle as well. It does just depend if the player on the roof gives themselves up a little bit. We do see another death mark coming on to Bolo here. It's not going to be too much of a surprise. You know that there's going to be someone on that fireplace. Now you just know who that player is.
Look at the time.
Citizen, he's got the read on this, but as you say, Demo, 9 players alive going into the final 30 seconds. A nade will be sent to try and displace Bolo. It's not going to do too much of a job. Instead, it just gives him an opportunity to swing. Can he find a second? No, it was Nath adding on to that pain. Bolo still in a great position here inside a library if he can just hold on, but no, cameraman comes in, picks off the headshot, but cameraman's got the kit and he's only got 10 seconds to get it down. NJR, he's still tucked into stock here. He's in a great spot to deny Noodle from walking on through. Cameraman needs to start getting that diffuser down and NJR needs to prioritize. He grabs himself one. Can he get the headshot? Yes, he can!
Needle onto the top of the dome. NJR, the savior for DZ. So some big moments throughout this competition, and there's another one for the highlight reel. Just M80 too slow, not enough time to deal with everything that DZ had set up. Comes into the final 20 seconds, and there's still a shield, just sand connector.
The ferocity and the pace that we saw from DZ in round 1 was very short-lived. It did not transition there into round 2.
Great
what
C4.
A C4. I mean, Bolo probably gets the kill anyway, but it just guarantees it at that point.
Oh, so close.
I love how Mint's just watching on cool as a cucumber.
Oh, the guy just displays no emotion whatsoever. He's just there.
5 seconds to go.
Watching on as cool as you like.
You wouldn't know, watching his face, have they won the round? Have they thrown the round? Have they clutched the round? Have they won the trophy? We wouldn't know.
Very level-headed indeed. Down to the basement we go. A couple of players left on site right now. They have gone for quite the roam here. Now Canadian placing those cap cans out. We've got Malusi with the Banshees, and we've got Legion. A very trap-orientated lineup. You're only really missing the Frost and the Thorn in there. What does all that do, Demo? It slows teams down. And if there's one thing that M80 were inside of round 2, it was slow.
Yeah. I think it just delays M80. They want to try and go for maybe a couple of little pocket plays. Just a trap will give the game up for them. So I do like the lineup. The inclusion of traps is always a strong one in Siege, because there ain't a whole lot of counterplay that you can really do for them. But do keep in mind, this is a basement, and we're seeing a very hefty roam game from DZ. They will be roaming in towards the bedroom, and I'm sure over towards the kitchen and dining also. Have that big hatch down there that teams will want to try and play for and try and fight for. It's not the, I would say, the greatest of lineups coming in from M80. With maybe like a little bit more hard breach. Canadian opens up with the first pick, and Noodle almost lost his life to a C4. So a brilliant start for DZ, but Spoit gets one back in return, and there's still a roamer up here. We still have Canadian.
Bolo's going to come up solo and join him there.
Oh, he's seen the gun.
It looks like he knows that he's there, but he's going to have a difficult engagement, and he almost certain doesn't know about Bolo at the top of the stairs, but it isn't going to stop him from taking Canadian down. Bolo now has a decision to make, and it looks like he's going to try and get himself back to site. Very unsure here and doesn't want to get caught out on the rotation. He's really checking every angle here. The fact that trench doors closed is a benefit to him right now. The main worry is going to be big garage. We can see that nobody is in there, but the hatch is going to be open. Cameraman could choose to drop that, but instead Bolo is allowed to get himself back to the relative safety of the site. And again, look at the timing on this.
Scary there for Bolo, but gets back. M80, what is the plan going to be? Probably a hatch drop. In all honesty, they have the Habana. They can try and utilize the connector hatch to great efficiency. Citizen on the Deimos, if he can try and get an easy gunfight, get a scan off. That will help a lot with that man advantage. You can see where they want to plant. He's yellow pinged the cabinet, so that's where all the action's going to go. But there are no C4s left. There's nothing that DZ have to deny.
Bolo in prime position, comes out of ADS at the wrong time, but still finds a kill. Picks up the second on the vert. He's tracked this whole time. He's the pistol. He's rolling back the years. 3 kills on the round, and it's all down to cameraman. He's pushing through. He's aggressive. Bolo with the pistol in hand. A quad kill on the round.
2022 called. They want their Bolo back. We've taken him out of time, popped him into 2024. It's the best round he's had since he's came back.
A worthy clutch there for him. It was this kill for me, the one onto Citizen. Citizen's got the live information. He can relay it, but players can move.
They can't believe it. They've just done an emote in real life.
I'm not sure if Bolo can believe it.
Signature spin at the end there as well.
The little Bolo spin, we love that.
Oh, just a wave of nostalgia just hit me as that happened.
Brilliant round
I don't know
for
about
Bolo.
anyone else.
And a brilliant round for DZ. Think about that, they lost 2 on the row.
Yeah.
And Bolo was the player that was rotating up Solar.
5 seconds remaining.
He spent so much care and attention to get himself back to site. And where M80 have been really good at cutting players off, if they know that someone's up there, there was no one there to cut him off. There was no one to stop him and give him a hard time getting back.
Just too timid from M80. They're giving just sloppy kills that really should just be dealt with, you know, via a drone network, people holding angles. You know, Bolo picked up the first kill right underneath vertical. You know, it shouldn't be happening, but M8 are allowing DZ to get away with quite literally murder in this instance. But we move. Round 4 is where we go. For M80, they need this round. I've said before, attacker-sided is usually how Chalet plays out, and they've already gifted DZ the expected 2. But that's only halfway point. There's still 3 more rounds that DZ potentially could pick up here.
What's so important about the 2-minute point of the round? I thought that's what we were counting down there. The crowd got the crowd got a bit ahead of it.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Cameraman's got himself a nice little spot here. Ossa Shield placed down in Trophy. Great line of sight, and he can just start to build off this.
I love this attack right now. This is one I've never seen before. A Trophy wall execute into an Ossa Shield plant. Using the Yings as cover. Cameraman takes a lot of damage, but he's still alive and can try and get the plant down. DZ now are scrambling. Oh, the shield's gone, but Cameraman's still alive. He will pick up his second shield and move into position. Citizen on the backstab coming up through West Main, but all of it's going to be on Cameraman. But he goes down to NJR. Canadian gets found out by Noodle. DZ apply the pressure of 3 versus 3 now. A shield that Citizen's not aware of. NJR's having a field day of this shield.
NJL still in a prime position to continue to pick up kills. This is such a one-sided attack right now from M80. Everything's coming through that Trophy and Solar side. You can see that Noodle and Spoy, they're both trying to get back together, trying to buddy up a little bit here. 2 versus 3, it's very doable, but they need to find themselves a pick. Panda playing close with the shotgun. He's gonna take Spoy down. Noodle is gonna know roughly where Pamba is, but they've already been separated, allowing DarkZero to break that down, and well, Noodle's options now are very few and far between. Try and transition here to the bottom of Solar, get himself into Trophy, but these long angles, there's only one way it's gonna go. Picks himself up a double on the round. DarkZero are still separated right now. He can recover the diffuser, narrowly misses the shot. Nath, however, pinpoint accuracy.
My, oh my. What a round. The idea from M80 was good, but they just couldn't get that diffuser down. DZ reacted so quickly. They rotated their explosives around to destroy the shield. And look, we've all been in that situation before. You're trying to get the plant down behind your Osta shield, and then an explosion just ruins the fun.
He was so close to it going down as well.
2 seconds off, something like that.
but you can't stick it because you're just going to get
No, you're going to get that. You're going to die.
and someone is going to take you out. With even with the Yin Candelas going over, you just can't afford to risk it. That was the final kill that did for cameraman NJR. He picked himself up a couple in that spot. He barely had to move his feet because of how one-dimensional it was and because of how quickly DarkZero recognized that and shifted that utility. They were able to just 180 their focus and immediately get onto the problem at hand. And there was only really one problem that was there.
DZ storming away with Chalet.
5 seconds to go.
M80 lifeless. Someone needs to step up. Somebody needs to do it.
Where's the hype from round one?
Gone.
They came into round one, picked up the round, very convincing, huge burst of energy. The crowd got behind them, as the crowd tend to do when you see that energy on the stage. Replicating, you match it, and you give a little bit back. It's been eerily quiet on the NA on the NA bench, on the M80 bench.
Oh. See a couple of footprints. Spoit on the hunt. Goes for the track. Who's he found? The Vigil. Oh, Canadian's actually coming towards him. No, never mind. Thinks against it. That was... This is a comedy routine. Maybe they've practiced this.
Ooh, Canadian just fires a couple of cursory shots his way and says, I know your game. I know where you're coming from. Bolo, he's got the hatch open as well to try and work with that. And Spoit just thinks, you know what? I am out of here.
DZ have been incredible at just not giving away silly picks. You know, any kill M80 have gotten, usually DZ have made them work for it and probably responded after that. There's just been nobody caught out in the open. Everyone playing together for DZ. They are giving M80 not a scrap to play off.
3 kills out of the opening 4 rounds, yet to find an opening kill in round 5, but it's a stat line that DarkZero are dominating right now. Kino knows there's going to be a player tucked into library, can use the Capital fire arrow to dislodge that player, shoot it on the ceiling, it will fall down, and Nath can get himself out. Fadeaway C4 potentially is going to get shot out mid-air. We nearly had a beautiful view of that. It's not actually displaced Nath though. Usually players will drop that hatch, and maybe that's what M80 are expecting here. Cameraman is going to find an opener here onto Bolo, going for a slightly different approach at dealing with that player on Fireplace. But with Nath still tucked into library here, he looks fairly committed to this. Only now is he going to drop the hatch and narrowly escapes the bullets.
Oh, and a player drops. It's going to be a trade. Down. Nath is down. Can he get recovered, though? NJR would need to leave his position inside a connector. Never mind. Kino picks up the down kill. 40 seconds. Man advantage for M80. No Candelas left. They have smoke, Solly. That's really all they can use.
They're stacking up right now. It looks like they're going to try and drop that hatch. We've got Pamba playing on lower blue stairs. There's frost mats galore here as well. Remember, no such thing as a bad frost mat, especially when you start getting into this territory with only 20 seconds left. NJR tucked into stock, starting to feel the heat from above. We can hear the smokes going off, but he's still got the shield to work with. Pamba, he's in a key position here as NJR loses engagement. Pamba's got no choice but to try and make this swing, but cameraman's patient. Canadian, he's going to rotate himself back in, gets himself in a heck of a scrap with the stock player, but can't get through the first. There's the energy we wanted to see from M80.
If you leave the door open, you don't know what will sneak in. DZ need to be ruthless. They cannot allow M80 to get back into this game. I mean, overall, the attack from M80, utility, I thought was used really well. I think Cameraman using the Candelas, getting himself in the strong positions in towards blue. You know, Nave tried his best to try and get some kills back, a great trade. But that was the important one. NJR gets those kills, that doesn't happen, we know that. But you have to look at Canadian, where was he that whole time? Missing.
NJR's already pulled DarkZero through a few of those rounds in those power positions, picking up a few multi-kills. I think Nate's maybe gotten a little bit unlucky there in that round. His C4 got shot out at the feet of the player that he was going for.
Down trade as well.
Down trade. Just a couple of unfortunate circumstances there. But M80 capitalized on it, and that's what it is all about. You've got to take the opportunities that you are given in this game. And M80 It was a must-win round in round 5 for me, because if DarkZero starts to go 4-1 up on a map like Chalet, let's not forget, this is M80's map pick. We're expecting them to be good on this map. We're expecting them to be good on the attack on this map. So far, the best they can do is an equal 3-3 split.
Here we go. Into our bar. Or not our bar, it's the basement now, is it not? The basement?
Down in the basement.
Yeah, thought so. Don't think DZ will want to go back in towards that bar again. Spoit, an opening death, gives himself up to Pamba. And nobody from M80 is there to get the kill back.
Where was the info? Where was the pinch? There was nothing. They had no idea that Pamba was there.
This is the issue of M80. These solo plays can come in to hurt you against a very well-disciplined side that DZ is. You just can't be going in by yourself and expecting miracles.
You think about the Bolo round in round 4 when we last saw this site. All it took was him getting a couple of kills and getting himself back down to the site, and it was sealed and delivered. Finally, M80 get themselves hit on the board here. They're going to take Bolo down, but they've lost 2 players for that privilege.
They have. Now DZ can just retreat to the safety of the bomb site. M80, they will get control of that mid floor now, and they can possibly use the ramp. See if they can open up any of the vertical angles, but that man deficit, DZ can just try and use that to their advantage, play the trade game. Cameraman, perhaps after a bit of a push in towards blue, it could work out for him if he just wins that engagement, then you have blue control, and things really could turn in favor of M80. Hatch attempted to be opened by Kino, but Cameraman loses that one. Canadian with a shotgun. Hatch is open now for M80. In goes Noodle. Kino's going to join him. Both of them stacked up in the one room, but 4 players applying the pressure. Nobody from DZ wanting to move. Somebody's dashed across. Kino's screen as he tries to reposition, but he's lost his teammate. Nath has dealt with Noodle. A shotgun being tanked by Kino, but NJR will get him in the end.
Another solid round from DarkZero. They are really not overcomplicating this at all. Get out there on the roam, cause a little bit of trouble, get yourself back to site, and win in the man advantage.
4-2 split for DZ. Phenomenal. And now they have the attack. Look at that, Canadian. The jump out. Shotgun. Oh. Shot and a half there from Nath.
That's some crackers. There's been some good ones from everyone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, mid-80, no! Oh, they're not sure. A little bit wobbly. Guys, surely they... Come on. M80 have rebuilt again. Surely it has to be good. Come on.
This is the best showing that we've seen from M80 though.
It is.
They made it to
They
stage.
made main stage. Never done that before. But I think for the caliber of the players, getting main stage just isn't good enough. We know that. We've got 2 players on M80 who have won a major. We've got a guy who's also won a championship as well, in the former Citizen.
Well, as round 7 begins, as the turn of the half is going to be a turn of fortune here for M80, or a DarkZero going to continue to tear away with this.
I'm reloading.
4-2 scoreline. DarkZero get one on the board quickly here. You kind of fancy the chances in the series, and let's not forget, if M80 lose this map, that's it. Best of 3 done and dusted.
You're home.
We can't even say back to NA.
No.
Just back to all over the world.
2 of these players have to commute on a train. Oh boy. Yeah, M80 in the trenches. You could say in the mud. They need to get out of that. Castle barricades being opened up around Noodle, who will be coming into some engagements very soon, as you can see this force from DZ approaching from the solar side. Pamba leading the charge with the Ying. Candela's in hand, can make for these quick, aggressive plays. Oh no, Noodle's caught him! It's on his phone! A freebie for Noodle on the castle. Spoit's upstairs with him. It's a massive kill in the grand scheme of things. Ying, what an operator to pick off.
NJR now trying to pick up the pieces from this opening pick that's gone against him, but he's just not too sure. Noodle got a glimpse there as players are starting to hop in now and get aggressive. Bolo put himself in through trophy window and grabbed one, but it was only ever going to be an attempt at a recovery. Citizen joins in on the action. Nath grabs himself a freebie onto Citizen as they rotate through. Does something to level things back. If you can isolate this player inside a connector right now, they are on their own, just narrowly misses out on the shot. I feel like he's got to go for that and try and make something work. This Canadian was just a bit too far away there.
Yeah, both of them by themselves on either end of the map. Canadian will pick up the remains of Spoit, but 2 to find. Full health on both of the defenders also. I'm sure a gutload of utility. You still have the Fenrir traps, which you can disable with the EMPs, and Canadian will do that. But he just doesn't have the info. He doesn't know the positions. The barbed wire as well. It's one thing he can't disable. Another EMP to try and stop the Fenrir gadget on this door. Does he know that the one's creeping towards the bar? Trap goes off behind him. This is not looking good for Canadian. Time slowly but surely ticking down. But we don't get to that. Kino finds the kill. M80, are they back? Are they going to get back into it?
It's a good way to start. They needed a round. They don't want to let this game slip by a margin of more than 2 because it will start to seem like a mountain ahead of them to climb, especially given that they weren't successful on the first map of Cafe. They want to keep that gap narrow and look to try and level up now at 4 rounds apiece. I think they played much better inside of that round. Noodle with an incredible play there. He obviously heard Pamba getting on the drone, and that's the downside of not having Pamba drone, having someone drone in for Pamba.
I love the play as well from Citizen. It shows that the team play is getting better there from M80. Spoit was in a really difficult position. He had just gone to that engagement with Bolo, and you thought, oh, this other guy's going to sweep around and find the kill. And then Citizen is there with the immediate pickup to give that support over to Spoit. So I think the team play has improved massively there for M80, but they need to do it again. They need to recreate that. They need to find the consistency.
10 seconds to go.
Cameraman's found something.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Down in the depths of the operator pool. He's found a clash. The sight and maybe the thought of a clash has been good enough for a full 6 pick from DarkZero as well.
Yeah, look at the lineup. All 5 players changing over to their, I assume, basement execute plant with all of the utility that they have. They have the Blitz, they have the Glass. Smokes galore. You have 6 of them to utilize. That is a hefty amount. Nath, no issues at all with getting the wall open. Apart from the mute, there is no wall denial on board for M80. So this is going to be quite easy for Nath to get in, open up these walls, start creating these pressure points that they can target the M80 defense with. But there is a bit of a run game. Don't forget, Noodle could also try and deny from above. He can shotgun some holes vertically onto those bins. But how do you deal with Cameraman? Maybe the Nomad to try and slip in a few air jabs? Oh, that's the plan.
That's going to be the initial idea, isn't it? To just try and restrict his movement somewhat. He's now going to need someone to come in and try to shoot one of those air jabs out. But the smokes go down, and Nath, he just storms on through. He might be able to get a plant down here. NJR conscious of the vert. Nath does have the kit, and he is stuck, tucked in behind Trash. Cameraman has to now try and come out, can look to try and zap through that fog. But Big Bang Nadian, he's in the mix as well, and he's making that blitz work beautifully, clearing out this mid floor. Nath will go down before being able to get that plant down, so that's going to be the diffuser surrendered on site. Pamba, he takes Citizen down. NJR joins in, 4 versus 2. Still a good position here for DarkZero. And M80, they need to be cautious. Noodle needs to win this engagement here, and he's going to aggress on up, but instantly, he gets flashed out by the blitz. The C4 caught on the rail. Canadian needs to be cautious here. Pambazoo, he's already found one. Canadian's going to get down, but it still leaves his team in an advantage.
Diffuser has not been planted as of yet, but it will now. Noodle has 45 seconds to see if he can make this work. 3 players to find, 2 of them outside the breach. 1 player's rotated very deep to the other side of the map. Went up through trench outside of main door now. He might actually catch Noodle. He has no idea that a player's rotated a C4 out. But he does know about Bolo, but does Bolo know about him? drops a hatch. Now they know where he is, and Bolo can hold from above. And nigh impossible position for Noodle to try and win. The time ticking away. And Pamba will seal that round for DarkZero. A hectic one, but a very simple push. You just walk in through the main breach and hope it works.
Sometimes the oldies are the goldies. Get the wall open, a little bit of smoke out there, aggressively push through it, and see what happens.
Vivas, the timeout. What can he do for his team?
We're getting toward the now or never point. You don't really want to take a timeout when DarkZero want a map and series point. They're 2 rounds away from closing out this series right now, booking a place in the semifinals and sending M80 home. This timeout has to be surgical.
DZ have looked the more dominant side in the 2 maps. Only 2 rounds between DZ and M80. But that feels like a lot more just with how the game has went. Oh, Canadian utilizing the new mechanics where Blitz can just jump in through the barricade. Oh, cameraman, where were you going? Platform 9 3/4.
It's not a good look, is it? Not a good look when you've got Clash's shield on your back. He did pick up a kill with the pistol. But of course, main value of the Clash is to just bat away those attackers as they come in. You're meant to be that thing that you go, oh, they've got a Clash. We've got to deal with this now. We've got to do something about it. It didn't strike the same level of fear into DarkZero as I think they were expecting it to. DarkZero dealt with it very nicely with that aggressive play. They fought the fire with the fire, and they're now only 2 rounds away.
10 seconds to go.
M80 locking in
5 seconds left.
towards that top floor. Big old extension as well towards the raiding side of things. They have the shield set up as well in towards a double door and piano. Just give them another option, another kind of fortification that they can play behind and utilize. The lineup from DZ. They have the Ying, they have the Grim, they have the utility operators that execute on both sides off the map. You have your solar players. You can also try and challenge this setup from M80. Things are getting tense and I'm here for it.
30 seconds gone inside of the round. Nath, see what value we can gain out of that shock drone. There's plenty of utility available for him to have a do at. Got the Mozzie Pests, we've got Fenrir, FNATs, bulletproof cameras. Plenty to go at here and to start to chip away. Kino, it's gonna be on that pulse, just trying to get an idea, trying to get a read of which direction this push is gonna be coming from, and where the large force of DarkZero are going to start their attack and start to mount this round 9 attack from. Pulse gets targeted out there. Kino will be caught out, but he's got a couple of teammates around him. He shouldn't be too exposed here.
Citizen doesn't have to do a whole lot of that. Wall isn't going to be targeted. Just has to worry about the one door, and an engagement. It's a scrappy one. Both players trading out. A great nade though. Citizen, you need to run. And he gets out of there in time. Noodle has taken down Bolo, but before Canadian has dealt with the trade-off, and Canadian's in the middle of the site. Nobody's home right now, and he has the diffuser in hand.
He's putting some good damage in onto Spoit as well. Nath eventually going to clean that kill up. Canadian could rotate back through and start to think about this plan, but don't forget, there is a pulse below. Kino, he's going to hit the revive onto Cameraman. There is now a C4 potential. Make that 2 as Citizen is still going to be up here. The plan is being attempted, but Kino's not caught him out on the scanner yet. He can see the moving dot, but he knows that that isn't the plan going down yet. His information has to be precise here. He has to give a good swing over onto Citizen. The C4 goes out. It's shot mid-air. One, however, will be successful.
And JR swings in. Now he has to get off that position. He needs to cover for Canadian. M80. They have that extra man, but they need to try and coordinate this retake. Diffuser still yet to go. Canadian now will attempt it. We know there's going to be no C4s remaining, but there is still information with that cardiac scanner, and it will be planted. Into the post plant we go. NJR covering one side, Canadian the other. M80 starting to creep up. 2 players towards piano. NGR, can he deal with both of them? Canadian Has to obviously go for the pulse. Citizen eliminates NGR, and it's all down to Canadian, a player running straight at him from Solar Stairs. A magnificent retake from M80.
There's that energy. Cameraman's really getting into this.
Oh, they were testing the keybinds as well.
Got to test the keybinds. You never know when that crouch key might fail on you. Big round mentally for M80. Every round that M80 win, it feels like such a huge momentum boost, but the momentum is so short-lived.
That's 2 rounds now in a row for M80. This is where they can start building that snowball. M80 are a team where we've seen inside of NAL, they can play from behind. They can play at a deficit. And right now for M80, this is what they need to do. They need to play from behind. They've strung a couple of rounds together, but they need more. DZ still leading 5 rounds to 4.
It's the first time that we've seen M80 chain a couple of rounds together. Not something that we've seen all too often. Let's see if they're capable of doing it. DarkZero successful in round 8. Well, M80 successful in round 7. DarkZero successful in round 8. M8 successful in round 9. It's been very back and forth. We haven't seen that clear breakaway yet. Is this going to be that moment?
They need this round. If DZ get that 6-4, M80 can't slip up. They have to play perfect.
Starts to feel like Cafe all over again.
You have to play catch up. M80, if they can push it to 5-5, then it's really anyone's game. Canadian back on the blitz. What's he going to do this time? What has he got in store? It is towards this bar in games. One take that we see a lot more now is teams looking to control that basement. Because if you get control of that basement, you can actually rotate and try and take out the connector wall. You know, that's the power position. You can see the Cameron's in it right now. If you eliminate this player, then really the game's bomb site is free real estate.
Well, one of the plays used to be get a Maverick in and start to Maverick open a line there. That was a common way of dealing with that.
It's a classic thing that Nath used to do all the time with his old team.
It was a classic M&M strat on this map. And because of that, you see little adaptations come in. The garage wall, it was mute jammered. Makes it difficult now to push in. You've got to use a little bit of utility to do that. We have a Selma to open the wall, but sure, it's there as an option for later.
They actually use the Chalet as well. You don't think that Chalet, you know, it's there for the sniper, but again, the gadget is great, just that those little pieces of utility you can pick off around the map. But no kills as of yet. Both teams just wanting to maintain their man count. Canadian's in the middle of the site. Where is he came from? He's being pushed. Is he going to be able to get this kill onto the warden? He just doesn't know where he is. 2 kills for Nave. Finally, the blitz is dealt with. Where, oh, where has Canadian came from?
He's appeared in the middle of the site, opened it up, and now Nath can start to get that plant down. He's being covered right now by Bolo. Pambazu, he's going to fall elsewhere, but it isn't going to matter because Nath is allowed to get the plant down and get outside. Bolo and him can now start to play this from the rappel. There is an equal numbers advantage here. It's 3 versus 3, so there is chance for M80 to play a little bit of retake here. They have to be quick with it, though. That time is ticking down rapidly. And for the meanwhile, nothing's happening. Spoit, he's going to get on and start to tap away a shotgun. It won't be successful, but the second shot will. Spoit, he's out of the picture now. Someone needs to jump on that case. They need to disable that diffuser. This can't be a bait. It can't be a switch. Bolo, NJR, lock it up. DarkZero, match and series point.
The double rappel works a charm for DZ to see it over the line. But what the hell is going on in that mid-round? Where does Canadian come from? Nath finds 2 because of that. M80 way too open.
How many times are we going to allow, and I mean like we as in like the general we, like teams at the Manchester Major, how many times are they going to allow Canadians just walk into site like this?
Just jumped every double window.
There's no way it should have got this close. That was a brilliant play, by the way, turning his back as soon as he gets knifed. But it was the cover from Nath for me. The fact that Nath has followed him in. He's on his shoulder. The second We didn't get to see the second in the heat of the moment, but it makes it even more impressive. Bolo and NJR, I think Bolo is the unsung hero from that round because he got himself onto Repel and he did not lose his engagement. Yeah. He was so focused on the player disabling the diffuser, it was the other player's job to get the player that was being aggressive. You need to deal with the swing, I'm going to deal with the guy disabling.
They worked in unison.
Perfect.
They really did, and DZ, honestly, from where they were at Invite, I think they've gotten better. They really have, and you know, they finished really well at Invite considering, you know, they've made roster changes, they've brought in 2 new players, one player who had been out of the game for a while as well. That's always difficult, getting him up to speed with what the meta is, how the game's being played. And they've just kept on moving. They've looked better every single time we've seen them. And this is where it's just all coming together in the games that matters, in the big moments, such as a main stage here in Manchester. This is what it's all about.
Could this be the final round of the evening here? We're going to be attacking into the basement. Sorry, into Barton Games yet again here. M80, they feel like they are not done with this side. They feel like there's something that they can do to give themselves an advantage down here. They're going to go again for another attempt, but the lineup is entirely different this time. We don't have the Cali, we don't have the Blitz, we've not got the same intentions. Instead, NJR's going to get in and start to open up that wall, but he's got no idea about Kino.
Lack of drones. They've went for that play downstairs again, but they try and sneak in towards the garage and then up and open up that connector wall. It then creates options again for those double window jump-ins that we've seen happen in the last round. But how will DZ adapt with losing that first pick, losing that ace? Canadian with the Candelas, and he will actually go for a jump, and this time it's for the single window, and in the side he goes. Canadian, he just can't stay out of it. He always has to be in the midst of it. Canadian with the LFG! Gets sat down by cameraman. Bolo up on blue, wins one against Spike. Pamba takes a hefty amount of damage also. Cameraman dancing around the site. And Pamba in the 1v3. No hope. M80, they're still in it.
They deserve to be in it. Canadian can't keep walking into sight and getting away with it like that. He had a little bit of support. Bolo was able to pick up a kill in the midst. But that can't be the game plan. It can't be just to send one player through. At 6-5, DarkZero's last chance to convert this in regulation. They're going to take a tactical timeout. Mint is going to choose now as his moment to speak to the team and to see what sort of stability he can bring.
Works for both teams though. Vivas gets another timeout also because Mint has called his. Again, straight over to cameraman. These two are linked. How will it end up? Round 12. Will it be overtime? Or will DZ lock it in? Win it out, 7 rounds to 5. Cameraman.
Brilliant pop-up. Brilliant pop-up.
Talk about Cameron being father to Liquid. Cameron may be father to Canadian. Did we ever think about that?
Quite possibly. (6-5). Another attempt at converting this match point into a series point here for DarkZero, but M80 starting to feel like they could have the legs to take this one to overtime. And if we end up on Labs, who knows?
Oh, look at the lineup.
Labs is still so possible at this point.
Oh, I was worried for a minute. Seeing the glass,
we had
the blitz, I'm thinking, oh, it's one of those rounds where it's just going to be utter chaos, but
no, Mint's just taking his time out. Maybe they were locked in up before the timeout. It's like, no, guys, we've got to go for something different.
Yeah, we can't just try and hope that the Canadian just kills them all in the middle of the site again.
No.
Not working. I must say, the Fenrir has been a bit of an issue as well for DZ in terms of how they've actually wanted to play some of those rounds.
Well, I mean, it's shocking to get let through, isn't it? But yeah, it's kind of a bit of a game of chicken. Who's going to ban it?
Of course. And I suppose then you say, oh, the Fenrir's gone, but then the Azami just comes up, and that's another operator that's very difficult to deal with.
Equally as difficult for different
There's no
reasons.
win in that situation. Here we are. Match point, series point for DZ. M80 to keep themselves in the matchup. NGR with the Grim. He's hoping for a jump out, but M80 not wanting to give the game away just yet. I think now for DZ, it's about getting their positions set up. This looks to be more of their kind of execute style siege, where they're going to take their time. They're really going to take it slow, figure out everything that they need, and then they try and go for the 3-2-1, using the Grims, using all the utility.
The thing is, they can play at both levels.
Of course
they can play execute, and they can also play rush strat. And it's just about finding that balance. And so far in the series, they've found that balance quite well. The last round wasn't a good example of it, but the majority of attacking rounds have been for them so far. Again, you talk about that slow and steady approach to the round. Canadian, he's got himself into trophy now, can start to think about getting that wall open. It's going to be Nath with the diffuser in his hand this time. So again, Nath, a player to keep an eye on as to his location and positioning. Ephemeria targeted out here by the Deimos. So Cameraman is going to start to feel that heat. And Deimos is only the other side of the west main wall to him. The nade goes out. It's going to chip a little bit of damage away from Cameraman, but an aggressive play from Pamba. It's the nade that ends up doing the business.
Pamba frantically running through the trophy. NGR still in this window, trying to lock down the player on the stairs that they know is there, but there's still all this vertical pressure that DZ just have not dealt with. Pambazoo, though! Big old swing on the Citizen. Back in DZ's favor now. Noodle above. Can he stop the plant? Kino, though, has tapped NGR's head off. Spoy is taking up that same position that Cameraman was in. Noodle now on the creep around. But Noodle just has to try and stay alive, has to try and stay above.
Has been caught out on the drone there. Bolo going to find one onto Spoy. 2 versus 3 right now. Noodle, he does have the vert, but DarkZero have got the option of avoiding that vert. They don't need to directly play underneath that Nath. He's going to start to get the plant down. Noodle's desperately going to try and make something happen, but Pamba's on for 3. He might even pick a 4th up here as a desperate attempt for a C4 comes out from Noodle, and he has to make this rotation. He's got to get through the player at the bottom of Solar, but look at DarkZero. They have scattered here. We do have a player at the top of Ivy. That's going to be Nath, but Noodle has got to be cautious about the clock here. He really can't give too much time away. He needs to start thinking about getting these kills, and this is for everything. Who better than Panda to pick up that final kill and to send DarkZero into the semi-final tomorrow.
We're having a party in Manchester. Pamba in the last round was phenomenal. And DZ do it in 2. M80, they progressed further than they have previously. But this is where their journey ends at quarterfinals. DarkZero keep it moving.
What a fantastic series we've seen there. A real treat with an NA on NA matchup. We've had our fun with it, Demo. Let's send this one over to our desk.
A massive congratulations, please. Give it up for DarkZero! What a game! M80 fighting back tooth and nail, but the more experienced squad wins it at the end.
They really did, but I gotta say, this was a great game for both M80 and DarkZero. Both of these squads looking better than we've ever seen them before. I'm glad we got to see M80 here on a big stage for Major finally. It wasn't enough against DarkZero today. I think DZ won him in the map and phase. I think they beat him in the server. They played fantastically today from both squads. Really impressive stuff.
They beat him in the map bans, they beat him in the server, they beat him in the shield play. DZ came here to play today. They knew what they wanted. They knew what it had to take in order to secure the round. We got Troy coming up here, the man, the myth, the legend himself, and Bolo. Give him a big round of applause. Semifinals.
Semifinals for DarkZero. Canadian, Bolo, you're on here. Yes.
Hey.
Look at it. It's so cute, isn't it?
It is.
There's so much.
We love you, Nick.
We love you, Dave!
Oh. Oh, I was. Oh.
There it is, home time here. At least we had a UK player on the DarkZero squad as well. First of all, congratulations to Bolo and Canadian and the entirety of DarkZero. A huge match for both of you. But before we kind of ask more analytical stuff, I want to replay the final round of Chalet here, just to kind of guide me through what was going on.
This is all Troy. I mean, At the very end here, it was just a matter of we killed Ward and we could smoke point. We just had to get rid of the vision and track top down. That was basically it. I think there was a lot more that went into the round because of the setup.
I mean, I'll say Pamba specifically was a huge key factor for this round, securing those kills, sneaking in, forcing people out of position.
I mean, you're sitting on the sidelines at this point, Canadian, right? What are you giving info to your teammates? Are you on a flank drone? Are you watching something for them?
Yeah, I'm on a flank drone. I mean, basically saying what needs to be held, what we have, what we don't have, what we need to be careful of, all that.
And at this point, you knew the round was pretty much done.
Yeah, I think we were very much in control. I think as soon as the bomb went down, we were basically chilling. But yeah, that was about it.
Fair enough. There you go. Big victory for the two of you. Bolo, secret weapon here in the game. What do you feel?
I don't know about all that. I mean, great group of guys here. I think it was a little bit of a toss-up on M80, you know, little NA, if you can classify it that. NA matchup in quarters, but it was a fun match. It was intense, but glad we swiped it with 2-0. So,
gentlemen.
Well, I want to ask both of you guys a question. Are you surprised they allowed Chalet to go through?
No, not at all. I think Bodega has an obsession of trying to play us on Chalet. Honestly, in the past few matches, we've always banned it. So we knew they love to ego challenge Chalet. And to be honest, like they had previously looked like the better Chalet team, but we were very confident. We knew they were probably going to pick that or maybe Consulate, and they picked it, and we were ready.
There you go.
I got two questions for you guys. Number one, I felt like you were playing very site-focused, often not getting control above or below the bomb site. Was that a specific strategy you wanted to pull off in this game against M80 on your attacks?
I think it just depended on their setups. I think they had quite a few setups where they were like kind of cheat heavy off the site. And just, I think if you know how to work it and get a plant down and whatnot, I think that's kind of the move sometimes, target the site guy.
And then my last question for you, Canadian. It was about 2 years ago when you led this DarkZero team to a major win. That was the last time NA won anything. Any similarities between back then and now?
I mean, we're playing really good Siege, I think. Honestly, this stage actually does, like, the setup here does kind of remind me of it. It was one of the first things I said. I think some other people said Rally, but it reminded me of Charlotte, so yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. I got one more question for the Bolo, the man, myth, the legend himself as well. What's it like now? Obviously, you joined in going into that SI. You guys made a pretty far run. Now you guys find yourself on the main stage. I mean, what's that transition been like going from SI to even here now?
I mean, you can't really compare SI, right? But I mean, it's an S-tier event. It's a major, so we're all in it to win it. And you know, Nafe, hometown, so we gotta do it for him. It's awesome, and I'm excited for Semis. Absolutely.
All right, to the two of you, we'll start off with you, Bolo, first of all. To the camera, anything you'd like to say to BDS tomorrow?
BDS tomorrow. Ooh, I mean, hey, I've had a pretty good record against you guys. So let's see if it can translate to DZ. We are ready for it. I'm ready for it, and I'm sure you guys are probably ready for it too.
Canadian?
I mean, I'm excited to play them. I've played them not many times. I think the only time I played them, actually, their coach was subbing in. So I'm excited to play them. I think they're a phenomenal team. I think it'll be a good match.
All right, thank you very much, Canadian and the Bolo. Congratulations to DarkZero, and thank you for joining us on the desk again, gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's time for us to close out our show. Don't leave him hanging. Lax has already been left hanging once.
Bye, Jesse.
There we go. Though, let's wrap this game up. DarkZero victorious. Big story for North America, Jesse.
Absolutely. We finally got to see who was better, the imports or the homegrown heroes, and it was today the homegrown NA, at least 4 out of 5 coming back from the region. Good to see it coming forward, of course, but both teams, as we said at the start of this post desk, both teams really played well, and I think this is the best iteration of M80 we have ever seen. I want to see them continuing to improve. I want to see them back at another event because this team has so much potential, even if it wasn't realized on the stage behind us today.
Absolutely, and I want to touch up on M80. Sure, this isn't the result that they obviously wanted, but this is the progress that this team has needed. Again, you look at last year, they didn't even look like a team that would even show up internationally. They weren't a team that showed up internationally. Now they find themselves here on main stage, making main stage, and obviously, again, coming up a little short, but still, I cannot wait to see what this team is going to look like throughout the rest of this year.
And again, congratulations to DarkZero. Obviously, we kind of knew ahead of the time that we'd have 2 out of 4 semifinalists be from North America, but now we can confidently say, again, half the teams going into semifinals are NA from a region that hasn't won anything in 2 years. It might be time to get a little excited.
Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. Speaking of which, here's what our bracket looks like. We still have 2 best of 3s set up for tomorrow, and of course our grand final best of 5, but that is not until we hit it on Sunday. BDS play DarkZero, and Liquid go up against Beast Coast. Let's go through things one by one, our games for today. Just kind of recap what happened starting off at the top, Jesse.
Yeah, we started with Secret versus BDS, the all-European game to come on through, and obviously Secret came in as #1 seed from Swiss, but I think a lot of people still favored BDS in that matchup. They've got the history, they've got the experience. Europe's super team. They are now Europe's only team as they take down Secret 2-0, heading up in the semifinals.
And then you want to talk about Brazil versus Brazil with that Fury of Liquid. I think a lot of teams were hoping that Fury was maybe going to come out on top. That wasn't the case. Liquid pulled up that upset, and honestly, very well deserved to say the least. Liquid came through all the way LCQ, made their way through Swiss, found themselves now sitting here at semis.
And then we moved on, Beast Coast versus FaZe Clan, the only game that wasn't inter-regional, but Beast Coast showing up, destroying what many people thought were the tournament favorites. A huge win from them to support North America, and then another, of course, DarkZero, as we just saw, taking down M80.
And again, DarkZero, hats off to them. They make their semifinals push, and you heard Bolo say it. They're ready, he's ready, they're ready to take on BDS and secure a grand final spot.
And they're ready for tomorrow. Beast Coast playing Team Liquid and BDS up against DarkZero. That is our schedule, and our game starts at 15:45. That is local time here in Manchester. No two ways around it. We're here in the UK finally, and we get to see it. The pre-show will start a bit earlier than that, so tune in. And of course, tomorrow, if you thought that it was full today, it's gonna get even fuller tomorrow and on Championship Sunday. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for today. Of course, Fresh and Alphaman Ian, our casters, everybody that is here with us in the arena, and all those watching at home, from us, from the bottom of our hearts, we love you so very much. Good night.